everyone, thanks for joining me. You're watching In Deep on the Delta. This is the weekly Delta fishing report for the week of March 3rd. I'd like to start off by introducing my son Nathan. A lot of you guys already know Nate. He's filmed a couple of videos with me, and Nathan's going to be playing a bigger part in the channel. We're going to be expanding. I'm going to be on the road doing some adventure fishing. And we're talking about bass. We're not going to get crazy. While I'm out fishing, Nathan's going to be taking care of a couple of the reports, so I just want to give you guys a heads up. What else, Nathan? You're going to do some kayak stuff, hopefully.
Yeah, for you guys that are into kayak fishing or multi-species, I think I'll have some interesting information to add, some interesting takes. The last couple years, I've really been into saltwater kayak fishing and just chasing the stripers around the West Delta. So
yeah, well, I can't wait, because I know Nathan's been funneling information into me since he was born, so this is nothing new for us. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Stay tuned, it's going to be a lot of fun. So Nate, welcome to the channel. Can't wait to see what you're going to throw in here, and we're going to get right into the program, or right into the report, and let you guys know how the fishing is.
let's get some fish.
Yeah. All right, let's get right into the report, and the report is trending really well up here. So I want to focus on Delta largemouth bass. I know a lot of you guys have sent me reports from Mother Lode and Clear Lake. We're going to kind of put those on the back burner. We're also going to put stripers on the back burner because things are happening so fast with the largemouth bass out here. And I'll start off by saying this week I got on the wrong bus. I took the wrong turn, and I've had some very tough fishing. We'll talk about that, but we're going to focus on the really good fishing that's a lot of people have had in this last week. Okay, I just want to start off with talking about water conditions, what they were last week and what they're looking at being next week. Last week we had mid-50s, and we had a little bit of frost come in. It dropped the temperature a degree or two. Didn't really materialize, that 3 or 4 days of hard frost. So since last week, we've had pretty stable weather conditions. The water temperatures are rising. I'm getting anywhere from 56, 57 degrees in the central delta. Alan Fong reported 58 degrees out off the Sacramento. I think by this weekend we're going to be approaching 60 degrees. We have a minor storm front coming in Friday that's going to bring a little rain, maybe a little breeze, but we'll talk about that towards the end of the report. Shouldn't affect the fishing. You guys have to be out here right now. So water conditions are great. Temperatures are rising. Visibility is anywhere from 4 to 6 feet in most of the delta. So everything is just perfect. Let's talk very briefly about stripers, because this comes into play with what Jeff Suhu was saying a couple weeks ago. When the stripers bite, they'll start biting first and the largemouth will follow. And what Jeff said exactly has come true. Stripers were very tough up to about a week ago. I started getting a few reports on stripers, and about 3 days after the stripers broke loose, it seemed like the largemouth followed behind them. It was just that quick. Now, a lot of folks out there catching stripers. They're not big ones. I'm not going to focus a lot on them. I know Zach from Outdoor Sportsman said a lot of his customers from Outdoor Sportsman have been talking about catching stripers on top waters. My partner Brandon's been out with his family. He's catching fish. Stripers are in the system. They're spread out all over. Jeff's going to be out this week doing a lot of fishing, so I'll have a better striper report for you next week, but we're really focusing on largemouth bass. Okay, water conditions warming up, temperatures warming up. Everything's looking to pre-spawn. The bigger fish are being caught. We're going to start off with Rob from the Basshole out on Bethel Island. We're going to give his report, and his report was really good. Last week he had about a 15-pound bag in the ABA tournament, and since then his weights have been going up, and up. He's power fishing out here. He's been bringing friends out. I got a picture here with one of his partners that has one about 8 pounds. Got a picture of Rob's daughter. She's been coming out and catching fish and having a blast, and he's power fishing. He's running the bank. He's throwing lipless crankbaits. He's throwing square-billed crankbaits, chatterbaits, and spinnerbaits. Now remember, about a week ago Rob said there's going to be something called March Madness happen, and it's happening now. For Rob, it didn't happen for me, but think about that March Madness with crankbaits. Rob also said these fish were within a foot of the bank, so that again, that's telling you this warm water is pulling in the bigger fish. So that's Rob's report. I have been getting reports from a lot of people that have been punching and catching really big fish. I'll start throwing a few picks up there from some of the bigger fish that have come out this week. So if you're looking to catch big fish, you definitely want to be doing some punching. And let me talk about the three classes of baits that are catching fish. And my suggestion would be, when you come out here, you kind of bounce around through these three classes of baits, whether you want a lot of fish or you want big fish. If you want a whole lot of fish or you want to get bit, throw your plastics, your dead stick worms, weightless wacky, Nico style worms, drop shot. That's going to get you the most bites. It's probably going to get you a lot of fish that are between 12 inches and maybe 2 to 3 pounds. You still have a chance of getting a big fish, but that is what a lot of the fish are taking for numbers. The second class of baits would be your power bait fishing, and that's what Rob was doing. He's talking about square bills, lipless, chatterbaits. They're catching a good class of fish, and I think Rob said he got 20 or 30 fish one day fishing, just power fishing. So they're getting good numbers and good size. If you're looking just to catch big fish, I would say go out and do some punching. And you got to stick with it, but that'll get you, if you're a tournament guy looking for just the heaviest sack that you can get, I would stick to punching. And if you have to move away from that punching, go into the power bait fishing. But if you stick to those three classes of baits, kind of filter them through the day, depending if you want a lot of fish, you want bigger fish, you should do okay. What have I been doing? And I'll give you my 2 cents on my last couple trips, and this is something that you probably won't want to do. I've been fishing the Central Delta. I've been throwing everything. I have been punching everything that we talk about, chatterbaits, weightless worms, all that kind of stuff. And I just have not had a good time. Like I said, my feelings have been dramatically injured in the last week or so. But I start off at Paradise Point. I went down my last couple trips. Start off at Paradise Point, went down Disappointment, fished the channel up and down a little bit, went down down by the flooded islands, all the way down to Bacon Island, fished down to the Bacon Island Bridge, fished my way back, Latham Slough. I fished rock, I fished Tules, I fished Thule Islands, I fished cuts, and I just wasn't happening for me. But the one thing that I did not fish was I didn't go into the backs of sloughs. So I would suggest, if you are going to fish that Central Delta, start going to the backs of sloughs, see if you can find the bigger fish. I was back in the sloughs a couple weeks ago, and it was probably a little early. The fish weren't back there, but it may have changed. So if you have to fish the Central Delta, go to the backs of sloughs and work your way out. Most of the fish that I know have been coming from guys, or not that I know, that the reports that I've been getting have been coming from guys that are coming out of Tracy, which is telling me they may be fishing the the South Delta. A lot of guys fishing out of Russo's are catching fish. They may be fishing, I don't know, but I'm guessing Frank's Track, Sandmound, that might be doing a little better than the Central Delta. And I know Alan's been fishing out north, and he's been catching fish out there. Alan's fishing worms and chatterbaits, I believe. So right now for me, Central Delta's been tough, but it's going to turn on. Take that for what it's worth, and I will definitely, for me, I'm going to be moving to the outskirts of the Delta and see if I can do better. I'll give you a report on how I do next week. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the like button, and we'll see you guys next week. If you see me on the water, stop and say hi, and good luck to everybody.